The first thing you notice is the sound, not gunfire, not explosions, but engines, deep, heavy, metallic engines cutting through the cold air of northwest Europe. It's early 1945, somewhere near the Dutch-German border, and the ground is still wet from winter rain. Mud clings to everything. The sky is low and gray, and in the distance, German officers are laughing. They've just received reports of British Cromwell tanks approaching. Fast, yes, but lightly armored. "Too fast to survive," one officer mutters.
If you want more content like this, subscribe now and comment below.
Another smirks. Against Panthers, they think, this will be over quickly, but what they don't know yet is that speed is about to rewrite everything. You can almost feel the tension building as the British armored columns move forward. These are not random units. This is the British 11th Armoured Division, battle-hardened after months of fighting across Normandy and into the Low Countries. Their Cromwell tanks are not the most feared machines on the battlefield. They are not the heaviest. They are not the most powerful. But they are fast, very fast. And in war, speed can do something armor cannot. It can confuse, disrupt, and break the enemy before they even understand what is happening. The German side, meanwhile, is confident. Too confident. By early 1945, the Wehrmacht still had some of its most dangerous tanks in service, including the Panther. Officially known as the Panzerkampfwagen 5 Panther, this tank had already proven itself deadly on the Eastern Front and in Normandy. It had thick frontal armor, a powerful 75mm KWK 42L/70 gun, and excellent long-range accuracy. German officers trusted it. Many believed it was still superior to anything the Allies could field, and when they heard about the Cromwell, they weren't impressed. The Cromwell, officially the cruiser tank Mark 8, was known for speed, not strength. Its armor was thinner, often around 76mm at best on the front. Its 75mm gun, while effective against many targets, struggled against the thick frontal armor of a Panther. On paper, this was not a fair fight. German officers assumed the British would be cautious, maybe even hesitant. They expected slow advances, careful positioning, and predictable tactics. They were wrong. Let's go back a few days earlier, January 23, 1945. The Allied push toward the Rhine is gaining momentum. British forces are advancing through areas near the Maas River and into regions close to the Reichswald forest. German defensive lines are under pressure, but they are still dangerous. Small villages, crossroads, and narrow roads have been turned into defensive points. Panthers and anti-tank guns are hidden carefully, waiting. The British 11th Armoured Division receives orders to advance quickly and exploit weak points in the German lines. Their mission is not just to fight, but to move fast, bypass strong defenses, and create chaos behind enemy positions. This doctrine had been refined since Normandy, where slow, direct attacks had often led to heavy losses. Now, speed and surprise are the priority. This is where the Cromwell shines. Powered by the Rolls-Royce Meteor engine, derived from an aircraft engine, it can reach up to 40 miles per hour on roads. Even off-road, it moves faster than most tanks of its time. It accelerates quickly, turns sharply, and responds faster than heavier tanks like the Panther. Inside one of these, Cromwells, sits Trooper James Carter, a young tank crewman who has already seen months of fighting since D-Day. He knows the strengths of his tank. He also knows its weaknesses. The armor won't save them if they are hit directly by a Panther. So survival depends on movement, constant movement. As the British column advances through narrow roads lined with trees and small villages, the crews stay alert. They know German tanks could be anywhere. Every bend in the road feels dangerous. Every shadow could hide a gun barrel, but the orders are clear. Keep moving. The cold air seeps through the metal hull. Inside the tank, it smells of oil, sweat, and cordite from previous engagements. The radio crackles with short, tense messages. Units report contact ahead. Some report resistance, but the tone remains steady. No panic, just movement. Meanwhile, a few kilometers ahead, German Panther crews are setting up defensive positions. One of them is commanded by Oberleutnant Karl Fischer of the 9th Panzer Division. He's experienced, disciplined, and confident in his tank. His Panther is positioned near a small crossroads outside a village, partially hidden behind buildings and tree lines. From here, he has a clear line of fire down the main road. It's a perfect ambush position. Fischer has heard about the British advance. He's been told they are using fast tanks, likely Cromwells. He isn't worried. In fact, he's almost dismissive. In his mind, this will be routine. Let them come. Let them drive straight into his sights. His gunner adjusts the optics. The loader prepares the next round. The crew works like a machine. They've done this before, many times. But what happens next doesn't follow his expectations. The first British tanks don't slow down. They don't creep forward cautiously. They come fast, faster than expected. Instead of forming tight formations, they spread out, moving in unpredictable patterns. Some stay on the road, others cut across fields. Engines roar, tracks tear through mud and grass. Fischer watches through his periscope, slightly confused. This isn't how he expected them to behave. He orders his gunner to prepare. The first Cromwell appears clearly in sight. A perfect target. The Panther fires. The shot is precise. The British tank is hit. Smoke rises. The round punches through the thinner armor, exactly as expected. For a moment, it seems like the Germans were right all along. But before Fischer can adjust or fire again, something unexpected happens. The rest of the Cromwells don't stop. They don't pull back. They accelerate. They scatter. Some tanks veer sharply to the left, disappearing behind buildings. Others push forward at full speed, zigzagging across open ground. Some even fire while moving, not expecting to destroy, but to suppress and confuse. The speed is overwhelming. Targets that were easy to line up seconds ago are now moving too quickly, too unpredictably. You can almost feel the frustration building inside the Panther crew. They reload, aim again, but every shot becomes harder. The Cromwells are not presenting stable targets. They are turning the battlefield into chaos. And then something even more dangerous begins to happen. British units start using terrain to their advantage. Small hills, hedgerows, and buildings become cover. Cromwells slip in and out of sight, appearing suddenly at different angles. They are no longer just targets. They are hunters. Back in the British column, Trooper Carter grips his position as the tank bounces over uneven ground. His driver pushes the engine hard. The tank shakes, but it keeps moving. He hears the crack of enemy fire behind them. One of their tanks has been hit, but they don't stop. The commander shouts orders over the intercom. Keep moving, flank right, don't bunch up. This is the tactic. Not to engage head-on, not to trade shots with superior armor, but to outmaneuver, outpace, and outthink the enemy. Within minutes, some Cromwells have already moved past the initial German positions. They are now behind the Panthers, attacking from angles the Germans didn't expect. Machine guns fire. Smoke fills the air. The battlefield becomes confusing, disorganized. At the same time, British Firefly tanks, Shermans equipped with the powerful 17-pounder gun, begin to arrive behind the Cromwells. While the Cromwells create chaos and movement, the Fireflies take more careful positions and begin targeting Panthers from the sides and rear where their armor is weaker. This combination is deadly. Fisher realizes something is wrong. His carefully planned ambush is falling apart. He tries to reposition his Panther, but it's not as fast. Turning takes time. Moving across uneven ground is slower. And now threats are coming from multiple directions. He gives orders quickly. Traverse left. Watch the flank. But the situation is slipping. This is where the difference becomes clear. The Panther is powerful, but it is not flexible. It excels in controlled situations, at distance, with clear targets. But here, in this fast-moving, chaotic engagement, it struggles to keep up. And there is another problem the Germans cannot ignore: fuel. By early 1945, German units are constantly dealing with shortages. Panthers cannot move freely without careful planning. Every repositioning costs precious fuel. The British, with better supply lines, can afford to keep moving. One by one, German positions begin to collapse, not because the Panthers are destroyed easily, but because they are overwhelmed. They cannot react quickly enough. They cannot track every target. The battlefield is moving too fast. A Panther on the left flank attempts to reverse and reposition. Its engine roars, but the heavy weight slows it down. Before it can align its gun, a Firefly round hits its side armor. The tank erupts in flame. Nearby, another Panther tries to rotate its turret, but a Cromwell appears suddenly from behind a row of buildings, firing machine guns and forcing the crew to react under pressure. And that's when the realization hits. The Cromwells are not trying to outgun the Panthers. They are outrunning them. This changes everything. As the battle continues, British units push deeper, cutting off communication lines, disrupting supply routes, and forcing German crews to abandon positions. Speed becomes a weapon. Not just physical speed, but operational speed. Decisions happen faster, movements happen faster, and the Germans are always one step behind. By late afternoon, the area that was supposed to be a strong defensive line has turned into a broken, scattered zone of retreat. Panther crews withdraw where they can. Some tanks are left behind due to mechanical issues or lack of fuel. Others simply cannot escape the fast-moving British units. Oberleutnant Fisher eventually orders a retreat. It's not a decision he makes lightly, but staying means being surrounded, and surrounded means destruction. As his Panther pulls back, he looks across the battlefield one last time. Smoke rises from multiple points. British tanks are still moving, still advancing, and for the first time, he understands what went wrong. He underestimated them. Not their armor, not their guns, but their speed. For the British crews, the day ends with exhaustion and relief. They've lost tanks, they've lost men, but they've achieved something important. They've proven that the Cromwell, often seen as weaker, can dominate under the right conditions. Trooper Carter sits inside his tank as the engine finally goes quiet. The battlefield around him is still, but his mind is racing. He knows what they just did wasn't luck. It was doctrine. It was years of learning, and it was trust in mobility. In the days that follow, reports begin to circulate through German command channels. Officers begin warning their units. Do not underestimate British cruiser tanks. Do not assume they will fight in predictable ways. Adjust tactics. Prepare for fast flanking movements. But adapting is not easy. The war is nearing its end, and German forces are stretched thin. Training is inconsistent, supplies are limited, and morale is changing. On the British side, confidence grows. The Cromwell crews begin to trust their speed even more. They refine their tactics, working closely with infantry, artillery, and other armored units. They learn when to push and when to pull back, when to strike, and when to avoid direct engagement. This is not just a story about tanks. It's a story about mindset. For years, the German army had relied on strong, well-armored vehicles and disciplined tactics. And, for a long time, it worked. But by 1945, the battlefield had changed. Flexibility mattered more, speed mattered more, coordination mattered more. The Cromwell represented that change. It wasn't perfect. It had weaknesses. But in the hands of skilled crews, using the right tactics, it became something more than its specifications. It became unpredictable. And unpredictability is one of the most dangerous things in war. You can almost stand there in that cold, muddy field, listening to the echoes of engines that once roared across it, the sound of machines pushing beyond expectations, the moment when confidence turned into confusion, and when speed, simple and raw, became the deciding factor. Because sometimes, in war, it's not the strongest weapon that wins. It's the one that moves first. And sometimes, it's the one that moves faster.
If you want more content like this, subscribe now and comment below.